Hey guys, hope you're doing well after a very turbulent day in the markets. The overall market has seen another big red day on increasing volume, blowing right through a 300 support that actually held early on in the morning, and there was a little bit of hope, but knocking out a lot of key support levels on the weekly time frame. We do have a weekly support level at 284.82. That's likely a monthly higher low, and that is indeed the case. And it's going to be right in line with our EMA 26 on the monthly time frame. I'm also told that there is a pivot around 297 on SPY. I'm not a big pivots guy, but something to pay attention to. We are getting very, very oversold in a lot of our names, and that tends to be a area where we start to see bounces if there are areas of support nearby. And then, of course, we're waiting for those bulls to come in. Now, the reason we're talking about the overall market when this is a coronavirus video is that because we've been talking about how coronavirus tickers are going to be moving up as long as SPY is moving down, because SPY moving down is indicative of continued fear. And that is what's driving the current down cycle in the market and is what is inspiring all this money to flow into our coronavirus tickers. So as long as this continues, and as long as we maintain increasing fear and we don't have that creeping normality of just accepting that this is what is the case now, like we saw with the original small dip, when was that? When the Iranian missile and US base attack in Iraq was going on. That was a lot of fear and uncertainty, and then we sort of just got used to it, and the news reports of rocket attacks hitting in Iraq from Iran sort of just became everyday noise, and now we don't hear about it anymore. So enough of that. Let's move on to our tickers. A lot of these guys saw huge continuation to the upside, and there's really nothing stopping them as long as the hype train continues and this fear continues to come in. We see a massive day of volatility today, a huge range on APT, just absolutely monstrous. 1635 to a low, 2750 to a high, and on increasing volume, absolutely stunning. And it's spectacular to watch the markets do this. And you have to remember, this is not value investing. This is volatility and trading. And we could easily just see a gap down tomorrow. So play these names incredibly cautiously. Set your stop losses and just buckle up pretty much. Anyway, daily time frame RSI, again, overbought 91.87. And we're getting into an area where we have seen RSIs pull back before. So we're going to draw a little bit on this chart. Last time we got into overbought conditions in the 90s, on the low 90s on APT on the daily time frame, we saw some pullback, and RSI got a chance to cool off. We're seeing some volatility. This is not an outright continuation candlestick like we've seen. If this is a Maribuza close, where we had the bulls closing right near the high of the day, then I'd be more open to the idea of upside continuation. This is a massive indecision, and this is basically the market telling me we don't know what we're doing and we don't really belong here. So it's going to be a lot of caution on this name, and pretty much all of them. On the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing that increasing ramp up speed. We're seeing an indecision candlestick and a relatively low volume, and this is just the current candlestick. We are seeing a little bit of a downgrade here in our volume from our early morning to our mid-afternoon, but overall still seeing a lot of crazy moves. 33.61 in after hours is the current high, and it's just stunning. We're seeing our RSI continue to climb. We're now 97.45. If you were going to try to convince me to buy something when the RSI is at 97.45, I'm just not going to do it. I just don't care. I can't get behind that. It's too overbought. We haven't consolidated in the 4-hour time frame, and that is not to say that we're just not going to see continuation. If there is more terrible news in the markets and there's more fear, then absolutely we can go into 440 tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen? We just have to play cautiously and understand that we are in overbought conditions. And I just want to keep stressing that these can come down just as fast as they go up. Hourly time frame, finally taking a little time to consolidate. We know that anything over 1635 is going to be an hourly high or low. We've got a long way to go. Our hourly RSI clipped to 90.81 and is now heading back down, currently at 75.36. We would like to see an hourly high or low form if bulls are going to go for continued upside. We need that stair-step action. Right now, we're just going up, and we need to come down, set a base of support, and then look for continuation. Let's see what happened on the 5-minute time frame today. Let's zoom out a little bit. So here we are. We opened strong relatively, set some basic ranges, 1725. We get a new high. Then we see the market strength. We had a little bit of a bounce off of our 300 level on SPY. I'm wondering if this correlates well with that. Why don't we just go ahead and add in the market? This is not going to work for us, is it? No, it's not. Moving on. Basis support established, 1725, 1635 low a day, higher high, higher high, higher high, break 18, and it goes. Absolutely beautiful TA. LAKE on the daily time frame, another big strong name. We saw some weakness in this name yesterday. This was an indecision red candlestick, not giving us a lot of confidence, but we saw the volume pour in. We opened, saw a flush, probably around the same time that the market was looking a little bit strong and there were some signs of hope, but we saw a big continuation. And we see a huge range again on LAKE. Our RSI is at 80.24. Historically, was the most recent high level we got was in the area of 85. So we're getting close to that. Very possibly we got right up to that level before pulling back today. 4-hour time frame is setting hourly 4-hour higher lows and higher highs. We haven't done it for a while, so we're overdue to establish a 4-hour higher low. Hourly time frame giving us what we need to see. We did lose hourly higher lows, but we did manage to set a new support. So hourly support is at 1660. Bulls need to break 2320. And let's go back to APT because we didn't talk about that either. We did break high day today, so we can look at support for 2750, but we need to break 3361, which is a current after hours level, pulling back from that, consolidating on the 15. Back to LAKE. LAKE bulls need to break 2320 or whatever they get up to in aftermarket. We're going to be looking for those as resistance levels. If we double top against those, then we're going to be looking for more consolidation. If we start to see 15-minute trend changes and hourly trend changes, then we know we're going to be looking for some more substantial consolidation that's very, very, very warranted on these names. And when that happens, look to the market. See if we're seeing a solid bounce in SPY. Has good news come out? Or it's not even good news. Has no bad news come out? And that will really impact these names. CODX on the daily time frame. Going to be a similar story. Big gap up here. Looks like we came down, got very close to testing yesterday's high of day. So 1089 was a resistance level. Did it act as support? It did in the sense, so we got very close to it. $11.13 was our support. So very close to a nice former resistance becoming support. We have a little bit of a range today to worry about. We've got 1967, and then what was our low? 1113. So we'll be watching those ranges. And for now, there's no reason to expect any sort of pullback. RSI is at 92.93. That's one good reason, but it's all about this fear, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's really important. This is a fear-driven market right now, and fear is driving the S&P down. It's driving select names up, like CODX, and I'm told, well, actually, I know Netflix has been seeing a lot of upside movement as well. Double top on the 4-hour time frame against 1967. If we go to the hourly time frame, we're taking that stair-step approach. Looks like 1967 is the level to break for the bulls tomorrow. As long as you maintain higherly lows, we're going to have a nice resistance test and possible breakthrough. So watch for a break of that level if we don't do that during regular or during after hours. VIR on the daily time frame, again, a big move. High of day, $75 psychological. That tells me this is more retail than anything else. 38.13, 38.11 actually is our low of day. Big volatility today, big volume, big range, big everything. 4-hour time frame has not consolidated, but I'm likely seeing some hourly consolidation. Here we are stair-stepping up these hourly higher lows. And as soon as we stop getting these hourly higher lows, and I'm looking at the absolute low of each candlestick, as soon as we knock that out, then we're going to look for consolidation on the 4-hour time frame because that's going to be a trend change. If we go to the 15-minute time frame, we can see that this is not exactly a 15-minute trend. We are indeed losing levels. And in fact, we may have just clipped through one of our hourly levels as well. Not quite. Okay. So as soon as we lose hourly higher lows, we're going to expect consolidation. If we do that against a double top, a rejection from 75 into the loss of hourly higher lows, then we're going to look to the 4-hour time frame for higher lows there. I think I may have misspoke a little bit about, let me clarify. When we lose our hourly higher lows, so these absolute bottoms of these candlesticks, and this is what I'm watching, how low do the bears push on each candlestick? As soon as we crash through one of these levels, so let's say we open here and knock out hourly higher lows, we're going to jump to our 4-hour time frame. and expect an hourly higher low to form at this point with a little bit of bull volume coming in. That's the consolidation that bulls need to see for long-term action. I'm not sure if we'll get that, but we'll see what happens. NVAX on the daily time frame, another big day. Shouldn't be surprising. This is going to be a theme for these tickers for at least the next little while. And a big day could be to the downside as well. Shorts are going to make a lot of money on these eventually. Daily range 1188 to 980. Do we have any resistance in the way? We do at 1344, so keep an eye on that one for tomorrow if we see upside continuation and super strength. Let's mark that out. 4-hour time frame established a higher low at 980. That's what the bulls need to see. And we are on the hourly time frame. Looks like we're trying to consolidate and maybe do the same thing. Right now our hourly low is 1239. So we're seeing some profit taking, we're seeing some instability, and right now this is not really a big red flag for the bulls yet. Maybe we get a equilibrium, maybe we get a bull pattern, maybe we get a bull flag. Ultimately, it comes down to how much more hype and terror can this market bring to the table that's going to drive these names. The last one I'm going to look at is IBIO. This is a new ticker for today's coverage, and it was requested by one of our Chart Guys members. And if you're a member or thinking about becoming a member, this is exactly what we do for you. We take a look at things that you are interested in. We walk you through it. We talk about the technical analysis. We talk about the levels. And we do this via live video a couple times a day at least. And this is what we'd like to do. So IBIO on the daily time frame. First thing I'm going to look back for is going to be historical resistance. And I can see that we've got a little bit at 93 cents. We've got a little bit at 88 cents. And I can see that we are in that range right now. Also, way over here at 140. I know my buddy's bullish on this position, and I hope he manages to get to 140. But we are at an area of historical resistance, a zone of resistance between 88 cents and 93 cents. Today's high was 89 cents, so right up against that key range. Anytime I see resistances stacked up like this, I think of it as a big, ugly zone of resistance, a big, mean cloud that's going to be hard to get through. It's not a definitive single level like if we had an EQ where we're just looking for a break of that level. In this case, it's a big, nasty zone that we need to work through, and it's going to be a slog. In most cases, it's going to be a slog. On the daily time frame, our high day, as we said, 89 cents, low of day, way down there, way down at 50 cents psychological. 81.02 is our resistance level on the 4-hour time frame. We have already blown through that. Not a slog at all, just champed right through. Looks like maybe on the hourly time frame we saw a little bit more resistance, but after hours bulls are charging through. 140 resistance is the next on target. The question is, can we maintain this pace, or are we going to see a little bit of a drop? If we see a spike in futures on the S&P or QQQ or whatever indice you want to look at, it's likely that we're going to see some pullback on these virus names. Now, if we open underneath 89.93 and then we break it with good volume during regular trading, I'm more inclined to believe it is a true and happy break right now. Based on the volume that I'm seeing, I'm not convinced that we're going to stay up here. If we open above and back test it, then it'll change my tune. But right now, and anytime really, I want to see a smash of key support and resistance levels during regular trading where the volume is there and the volume matters. On the 4-hour time frame, it did not look like a bull flag. You can make a case for a bull flag here, maybe even an equilibrium, but the key thing was after hour bulls have smashed 89 and are carrying on very, very strong. Let's go take a look at the 5-minute time frame and see what sort of action we could see. Initial range 89, 65 double bottom, and then if you just took that 65 double bottom and set your stop on the low of that loss, or just the loss of that support, you would have been in a pretty good position all day. Real key would have been that break of that 80 psych, having a new 5-minute higher low, and an after hours currently consolidating, probably forming a 15-minute bull flag. Let's take a look at that. A little bit too early to tell, but if we don't see much follow through to the downside and we see the bull step back up, that's going to lead us to believe we're in a bull flag situation, because our RSI broke 80 and needs to consolidate. That is the message that I'm going to keep harping on you guys about and keep talking about. These names, you know, they're not just going to go up forever. So if you're trading them and you're trading them successfully, congratulations. I hope your dreams come true. But these are not going to be great investment vehicles. Maybe they were down here, but look how long it took for something to happen. a long time. Anyway, please protect your capital, guys. If you're going to be trading these names, use your stop losses, make good decisions, just be safe. And we'll continue the coverage of these names as long as the hype and the fear continues. And if and when that turns, I will continue to cover, and we will walk these down and look for support levels and try to find our entries and exits as we always do. Have a good one.